Welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, the podcast where we help couples navigate life, marriage, and ministry. I'm Charles.
And I'm Tesa. Join us as we share insights, wisdom, and practical advice to strengthen your marriage, empower your life, and enrich your ministry.
Let's dive in together and discover the joys of doing life with the Daniels.
Hey, welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, where we help couples get it on in life, marriage, and ministry. I'm here today with my wife, Tesa. I'm Charles, and we want to get started today and talk to you about some stuff. So, baby, let's introduce ourselves.
I am Tesa. How y'all doing?
So, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah, what are all your labels, your titles? What do you characterize by? What do people call you?
They call me Pastor T or
Okay.
Pastor Tesa.
Okay.
I'm the pastor of the Truth Church here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
And I'm a mother, a wife.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on. Whose wife are you?
Yours.
Whoa! I like that. I like that. So
What are we going to be talking about
well,
on this podcast?
this podcast, we're going to be talking, not this episode, but this podcast, we're going to be talking about life.
Uh-huh.
We're going to talk about ministry. We're going to talk about marriage and everything in between. Basically, just helping people with all around stuff. It's basically our life kind of being documented. And we're sharing the principles and tools and strategies that we've learned that other people can benefit from.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great time.
So what about like family, blended families?
All of it.
All of it.
All
We're talking
of
about
it.
All of it.
All
Nothing
of it.
is
Nothing's
off limits.
No, they're going to really get to know us in a new way. You know, most people have known us as Apostle Daniels, Pastor Tesa,
Uh-huh.
and that's really all they've seen of us.
Right.
Unless they're family or close, and they kind of know a little bit about being around us. And most people who are around us, they really enjoy
Being around us.
Yes, seeing who we are, how we are. And, we often heard people say, y'all
Y'all
need
need a TV show.
Yeah,
We need a show.
So this is the beginning. Maybe if there's a broadcast, a network watching us, keep watching. You might have yourself a hit.
So for those that wanted us to have a TV show, this is the closest thing that we have to a TV show right now. Yeah. So this podcast.
Absolutely.
So if you want to get to know more about us, just keep tuning in.
Keep tuning in. This is going to be Doing It with the Daniels, and people have asked for it. They wanted it. Even people asking about marriage.
Yeah.
You know, we did the marriage conference last month.
Yeah.
People were like, when are y'all going to give us more? So this is the opportunity for us to give them more. So, hey, it's coming
here.
soon. Yeah, it's here. Stay tuned. We about to do it.
So let's talk about how we met.
Yes, how I met my soulmate.
Oh, I'm your soulmate.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it, soulmate, life partner, best friend, lover, baby mama, all that good stuff.
Okay.
How do we meet? So
How did we meet?
We did talk about that was like,
It's a long time ago.
yes, we've been married 19 years
Yes.
this year. And so we were talking about going back to 2000, really like 20 years ago when we met, 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah, 2004 when we met. So how did it happen? I'm sure we got some variations to this story. So I'll let you start what you think it started with.
So we met at work, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was working and
Yeah.
you were coming in to get a job. I think you were coming to do an interview, right?
Yeah, I was in college. I was in college and I needed a job, a job.
Need some money.
I need some money because I think I just moved off campus, and I got an apartment. I was getting ready to get an apartment. I was like, yeah, I gotta have some money if I'm gonna get an apartment. So I went looking for a job. I had worked summer jobs in banking, so I was like, let me go get a job as a bank teller because I've done that before. I can do that again. And so I go into the bank and apply for a job, and I apply, get a call back, go through the whole HR process, and they assign me to the branch you were working at.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So I walk into the branch.
I remember what you had on. You had on like a white button-down shirt with like a blue peacoat. You walked in with your head all up in the air, and I was like, who is this guy?
Oh, you was looking real hard.
I mean, I was looking.
It's cemented into your memory.
It's cemented in my memory.
You knew what I was wearing and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had you from day
Oh,
one.
whatever.
Okay, no.
But anyway,
let's keep going.
Keep going.
So we go in. I go in, right? Show up. I come in. I'm looking for, at that time, the manager name was Lester. And I'm looking for him. I think did I ask you or I asked somebody? Like, hey, where is he? I'm here to see him. And I have to stand there. And while I'm standing there, I see this cute little girl sitting over in the corner back there working, and I kind of glance over and look. I see you. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm looking for less. I'm trying to take care of that. I didn't know what the deal was, but finally ended up getting hired. I get hired. I come in and start
Now,
working.
once you got hired, who trained you?
You did. They assigned me to you, which I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. They assigned me to you. You start training me. And while you're training me, I'm checking you out. I'm
Really?
like, okay, she seemed nice. She training me. She's showing me whatnot. I'm like, I wonder if there's anything more that could come of this. But I was still young and
Oh, you had some
wilding
issues
out.
back then. You was still doing your
I
thing.
wouldn't call them issues. I was just
Just what?
living life, you know.
Okay.
Living life, doing me, or whatever. I was in college.
Okay.
I was in a fraternity, which I have since renounced,
Uh-huh.
and I was frat boy life,
Yes.
you know, at that time, doing what
Yeah.
I was doing and enjoying myself. But when I met you, it got really interesting, really interesting. So when I first saw you, when I first started thinking about like, what could this really be something? I was like, I looked at you, I was like, she cute. But I'll tell you what I really thought. I really was like, was she skinny?
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I want somebody with a little bit more on them, you know, not real skinny. But then I had another thought. I was like, if she's the one, if we get together, we get married, couple of babies, she'll be right. So I was like, cool. That's what I can do that. And then I was like, we'll see what comes up. Like maybe I'll just date her for a while, see what happens, and move on.
Okay.
But what was your thought?
So my thought for you was I would look at you some days and I'd be like, yeah. And then I look at you again, I'd be like, nah.
What's the nah for?
Because you were just different. You were different from what I normally would talk to. Just, you know, I don't know. You just the way you dressed, the way you were, how you talked, it was different from what I usually date. So I would go back and forth in my mind, like, yeah, he cute, but nah. And then, you know, I would see your interactions sometimes at work and how you would checking women out when they came in. And I was like, man, this
How you
dude
think
right
I'm
here.
checking people out?
You were checking people out.
Oh,
so
my
I was
goodness.
like, this dude right here, he on something else. So I'm straight.
I mean, how you don't know I was looking for my soulmate?
You was looking for something. You were definitely looking. So I would, you know, I had those moments and I was just like, I don't know about this. But I can't even remember how we started to like talk and hang out and all that stuff. You remember that?
I think we just started talking. We just chatted for a little while. And somewhere along the way, I was like, hey, you want to hang out? I think I just kind of presented you because you definitely didn't say anything to me. I think I was just like, hey, you want to hang out, do something, whatever. You was like, yeah, let's go hang out and see what comes of it. And I think at that point, both of us had kind of taken notice of each other, but
Yeah.
still had not said anything
Right.
beyond that, like, I'm interested. It was just like, why don't we just hang out more so on a friend
Yes.
type deal?
Yeah.
And I think that's important to kind of keep in mind that, like you said, I wasn't what you were looking for when I looked at you. You wasn't what I was used to or the image I had in my mind.
Yeah.
But in reality, I think this is a powerful principle for even single people to realize, like, your soulmate may not fit your list of
Exactly.
required qualities
Yeah.
in a mate. But I believe 100% this was a God thing.
Yeah, it
I
definitely
believe
was.
God brought us together, put us together, and we had to get out of our own way
Exactly.
to see it.
Because you won't normally see it looking at all the outward things. And, you know, I could have been like, yeah, that ain't it, and kept it moving. And I would have missed God.
Just like you said, I wasn't what you were used to. And then me growing up in the church, you know, I was kind of told I needed me a good church girl.
Oh.
And you wasn't so much of a church girl.
So what does that mean? So what was I?
A work in progress. But I mean, you went to church, but you wasn't like deep in church.
Yeah.
So with me being in church, in ministry, all that, it was very different.
Was
But I
very
made a
different.
decision. I didn't want a church girl.
Right.
Like I was on that. Like I wanted somebody who loved God and would go to church. But I didn't want like little Miss Missionary. You know, I didn't want little evangelist. I wanted somebody who could love me, and I wanted somebody who I could be attracted to.
Right.
Because I hate to say this, but sometimes in church, some of the women just ain't that attractive. At least that was my experience growing up.
I was Okay.
But I mean, now it's different. You know, women learn how to put on makeup and all that kind of stuff, and I dress a little bit better.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't do nothing. You know, just
Couldn't do none of that.
it was natural.
Okay.
And like, you need some enhancements, baby, if you want some attention. So, but it's a little different now. But I didn't want that. I want somebody that every day I could look at her and be like, yeah, I like her. I like being married to her. And that's what I saw in you.
Okay.
And so we decided we were going to go out on our first date. You remember our first date?
No, I do not.
So the first date, it wasn't really like a date. We just said we was going to hang out because we were just friends. It wasn't like a boyfriend, girlfriend, let's hook up type deal.
Yeah.
We just friends. We kicking it. We hanging out. I remember where we went. We hung out. I think I came to your apartment and we left the apartment and you was like, well, let's go hang out. Well, this is the day. You don't know if you remember, you had a set routine. You had a set day of the week when you would wash your car. I think it was Friday. Friday, we would get off work. We got off work. I came to your apartment. We got in your car. Like, what we going to do? She's like, I don't know what you going to do, but I'm going to wash my car because I washed my car on Friday.
Oh, my God.
I was like, all right. So I'm going to go to the car wash with you. I'm thinking we getting ready to drive through a car wash, automatic car. You pull up at the old school, spray your car down, car wash, and get out.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, okay, this is what we doing. So I'm standing out there with you. And you start spraying your car down. And
you know what? I almost said, put up the deuces to you that day. Because ladies, don't do this. He sat there and watched me wash my car.
I did. I couldn't believe we was out here washing your car. Like, we probably be talking. Like, we go to the movies. We go out to eat.
You didn't try to help me or nothing. It was sad. I was like,
I was trying to figure out what I was doing there. We supposed to be trying to get to know each other.
but I told you where we were going.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, like, be a obvious jerk and be like, no, I'm straight. Call me when you get done.
Well, it's even worse. You there and didn't help.
I mean, looking back now, yeah, but I was like, hey, I don't know how you like your car washed.
Oh, my God.
I have a certain way of washing your car, so I just kind of stayed out the way.
No.
But I talked to you while you washed your car.
Yeah, you did.
We talked, we chatted.
But the thing about it, we wasn't dating. We were friends. So,
Come on, friends.
Friends.
So I wasn't obligated to wash your car.
No, but you could have helped, friend.
Hey, it is what it is now.
But hey, that happened, and I guess I must have looked over it, or I just didn't really consider it.
No, you
Just really getting to know you at that point.
Probably already a little sprung, so you know.
No, I don't think so.
Probably so.
No.
We'll end that was kind of that date. I guess if we want to call it a date. But I think from there, building that friendship is what really laid a foundation for us because we got to know each other.
Yeah.
And we decided that we actually liked each other as a person, not just, oh, you're so attractive, I want to date you, and we jump straight to dating, which I think is another powerful principle for those of you watching. I think it's important that people don't just jump into, let's fall in love tomorrow. You know? Why not let's take it slow. Let's be friends. Yes, there is an attraction, but let's take our time and get to know each other and make sure we like each other as people, you know, because you don't know if you really like a person until you see them in different environments.
Right. And I think that's really good because a lot of people want to be married so quick. And for you wasn't in a position where you wanted to be married at all.
I wanted to be married. I just wasn't in a hurry to be married.
Right. And see, a lot of people are in a hurry. And, you know, me back in the day, what did I tell you?
I ain't getting married.
I ain't getting married. So for that thing, I think that worked well for us because we wasn't like trying to jump into marriage. Like now everybody's like, oh, I want to find my mate because I'm ready to get married and all this stuff. And I don't think we were on any of that.
Now, I will say, because the type of person I am, that was like a challenge for me. When you said, I ain't never get married, and I started getting feelings for you, I was like, oh, you going to marry me? You going to be my wife. We going to change that. I ain't never get married. Oh. In my mind, I took it and I was like, oh, yeah, this is a challenge. This is just what I need. Because men are hunters. We like a challenge. I mean, a real man. Now, a man that don't want a challenge, you don't need to be with him no way. If he ain't going to chase you and pursue you, and that's just for the women. If he ain't going to do all that, you need to be concerned.
Definitely.
But I was like, no, I'm up for the chase. Because I believe I can overcome. I believe I can catch you, I can get you, and you'll be my wife, mother of my children, and all of that. But I never told you
your
that.
college life. You wasn't ready.
I mean, I wasn't ready, but I knew I was going to chase you when that time came.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You know, but I was having fun.
All right. So after the date, after our first initial dating and hanging out and all of that stuff, what changed?
I don't know. I think it just happened naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I think from friendship, it went to, man, I love this girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know who said it first. Do you remember who said it 1st?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably you.
It's probably you. He said it first.
I don't know. I just remember, man, we used to, I mean, I guess this is getting into kind of when dating kind of came around. If we really dated, we
Really didn't date.
we really didn't date.
Really
It kind of was
It kind of was like went to engagement.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. But that's kind of how we met. It was some ups and downs because I think when we first met, the month I met you or the month we hung out or started developing a friendship, that was the month I actually went out of town.
Yeah.
And that was a whole nother.
Well, you actually went out of town twice.
Well, but the first time I went out of town, the second time it wasn't a big deal. The first time I went out of town almost ruined us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, why are you saying? Mm-hmm?
I'm just saying. This your story to tell.
Well, I mean, you was the one that had feels about it. Just the other day you brought it up.
I did. You still answer my question.
Ain't no questions to be asked. It's 19 years later.
Well, that's why you should answer it.
Ain't nothing to talk about.
Oh, well, you bringing it up.
But I'm bringing it up for the people to help them.
Oh, Lord.
But so I went out of town with some friends. We had a trip planned. But this was before I met you. This was before we started working. We had already planned a trip to hang out. And it was like a couple's trip. With somebody.
Y'all listening? Listen to this now.
They listening.
Hope y'all listening.
It was a couple's trip with me and a couple other friends. When we all went out of town on a little trip, just a little getaway, some friends from college. And we had a great time, you know? And
Sure you did.
and you when I got back, you was just kind of like, so what was that about? And I was like, we just friends. Everybody was coupled up, but it was just friends, just hanging out. Friends.
You use that word a lot. You know that, right?
I did.
Uh-huh.
But we were just friends. I didn't have a girlfriend.
So what was I?
You wasn't my girlfriend.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later, remember? But we were just friends, remember? So if we were friends, that means I can still be friends with whoever I want to be friends with.
Y'all listen to all this game, right? I had to really break you from that. Because you
broke me?
Uh-huh. I did. I did.
You talking big on this podcast.
I did. Because you thought that by calling everybody your friend that you were safe and that you can go here and go there and go hang out with this one, go hang out with that one. And everybody my friend. That's just my friend.
Okay. So
And what I tell you,
I don't know.
everybody
I
ain't
can't
your
remember.
friend.
Well, yeah, I mean, your friend is a game thing. Friend, if a guy trying to be a player and he got all these female friends, he probably is running game. Because yeah, we just don't have a bunch of female friends just all around, constant calling this, that, the other. I'm not saying they don't have any friends. I know we've chosen
Not
in
to.
our marriage that we don't have friends of the opposite sex. That we just like, that's my best friend. But we really just don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially not with somebody you was in a previous relationship with.
Right.
You know, with some people still do that. I think that's dangerous. It's really dangerous. But yeah, I kind of went out of town, came back, and I was like, hey, what we gonna do? And you was like, what was you doing on your trip? I was like, nothing, friends. And that's when I knew kind of that you wanted a little bit more. That although we weren't dating per se or boyfriend, girlfriend, I think in your mind, you was like, well, if we're gonna do this, if we're going to even explore this as friends, then we got to do it a certain kind of way. And you got to kind of cut some ties.
Well, yeah, because at that time, you were spending all your time with me. Yeah. Every day after work, you was coming to my house and we're spending time together. We're going out. We're hanging out. We're spending like a lot of time together. But, you know, you still had those moments where you would try to hang out with, yeah, this is just my friend, or your phone ringing. and you talking to this person. And so I was just like, okay, basically this guy could be blocking, number one, because he don't want to take it a step further, but he wants to be around me all the time. So I was like, we got to figure this thing out.
I mean, I was definitely blocking.
Yeah, you was blocking.
I wasn't done playing, but wasn't nobody else gonna get close to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was for
so
sure.
you were blocking.
Exactly.
And so I had to
because
like,
in my mind I already knew I wanted you.
right.
I just wasn't ready.
Come on.
Right then. I was still playing.
Come on.
So I mean that's and here's another part of meeting your soulmate or finding the right one for you. It's not gonna always be perfect conditions. There may have to be some patience. There may have to be some understanding.
Yeah.
There may have to be some come to Jesus meetings.
Right.
There may have to be some reality checks.
Yeah.
And some conversations about what do you really want?
What are we doing? Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where we got to. It was like, okay, at first you was kind of like, I know he playing, whatever.
Right.
But then it kind of went to, how long you gonna play?
Exactly.
You know, if we gonna do something, we gonna do it. If not, we gonna do.
We're gonna push on.
Right.
Yeah. Because I wasn't looking to be married, but I was looking to be with somebody who I can potentially marry. Yeah. And so I was just like, okay, he playing games, and I'm just not down with it. So we gotta figure this thing out.
And that leads to when we wanted to look into the whole dating piece, right?
Right.
We need to save that and talk about that for the
next podcast.
So y'all gotta come back. Y'all gotta catch us for the next one to find out about our dating journey or our dating game, because there was some games we played. It was interesting. What'd you say?
I was getting ready to say, yeah, of course y'all can see that there was definitely some games being played in the beginning, and we'll have to.
But I wasn't the only one playing games, but we'll get back to that.
I was not playing games.
Oh, yeah, right. Thank y'all for joining us. Listen, hope you enjoyed it. Got some helpful things. We'll be back. Catch us on the next one, all right?
Hey, thank you for joining us for Doing It with the Daniels. If you want to keep up with everything going on our channel, don't forget to
like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.